the 817, Mavs win because Mavs lose because unfortunately the Celtics are just a superior team in every way. Oof. Look, it's tough to argue against right now. From the 214, Mavs lose because Mavs win because Boston wants to win at home. From the 469. From the 214, Mavericks lose because Luka fouls out. And then from the 972, hey, Kevin, what'd that vacuum do?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
It picks up the dirt.
That is a quality text right there.
Shout out from our friend Kyle. Shout out to the 4 Cowboys, 1 Eagles group chat that TOLOs all day.
Yes.
Aside from the Eagles guy. Maybe he's talking about like the Eagles, the band or something.
Ratings count all the same.
You know what? We appreciate you. You're appreciated.
From the 214, I'm not entirely positive I know this person's name. Like, I know their phone number. They text in all of the time. I'm not positive I know their name. Shout out to me, Kevin's nemesis. My birthday is tomorrow, and I'm better than Kevin.
Kevin's nemesis got to come out to one of these events so we can get a photo together.
And they might have already, and I just don't recall.
Oh, this is just a long covert op?
That would be interesting. You know what? I had a dream last night that I got into a terrible car accident and I was in a coma. And when I woke up, the doctor came up to me and said, "Don't worry, soon you'll be better." And I thought that was a weird time to use that, but it was also a dream.
Ooh, Corey, we've got some answers, I think, on the text line. A few folks mentioning that schools in the North go into the summer months to cut costs with heating and cooling and maybe even like snow days and things of that nature.
Oh, okay. All right. And they were in Chicago-ish, right? Like Parliament
Not Chicago-ish.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. They were legitimately in the city of Chicago. They weren't like a suburb.
I mean, he might have lived in a suburb, but like they traveled to.
Yeah, that neighborhood looks suburb as hell, man.
Yeah. That neighborhood is not in the actual city of Chicago.
Where do you think it is?
Naperville. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yep.
From the 685, you don't know the answer to that. From the 685, Mavs win because Dwight Powell starts. My God.
Doing what? Cheering harder?
No, he starts playing in the game.
That's the full sentence?
Let me ask you this. I know you want the Mavs to win.
Yes.
He can defend out on the wing.
Would it be the greatest thing ever if the Mavs won on like a Dwight Powell put back at the
Yes.
buzzer?
Yeah.
I've been asking for this for him to become Brian Cardinal, although at this point.
But here's the thing. And we all know the truth and the reality of it. As we've watched Dwight Powell, there are lots of things to care about for Dwight Powell. But as you've watched Dwight Powell, if he gets that chance to do the putback, Kevin, he's either going to get hit in the jaw with somebody's elbow,
correct,
or he's going to lose the ball, and he's going to fumble it out of bounds, and then he's going to dive for it and just miss getting it back in bounds before it's out of bounds.
I think we can go with the first one. Look, I think Dwight Powell would put his head on the line to get hit, and if it making the game-winning basket.
That actually is true.
I agree. From the 254, the Mavericks will win because PJ stands on business. From the 513, I had not considered this. From the 512, Mavericks lose because the Slovenian prime minister is bad luck.
Is he still here? Did he stick around, or was that just like a one-off from last week?
And that was just on Wednesday.
I did,
so he could still be there.
I did wonder if that added an element of pressure that Luka was furious with too. If that like changed that too. If that spilled over into, hey, look, I'm playing in front of my prime minister here, and this is a big deal to me. And if that added any pressure to him, undue.
That's a fair question. I love this one from the 940. Mavs win because someone has to make history. Look, I know we're just talking about game 4 right here, but if you think about it, obviously in football, you just have the one-offs. But in major sports where you have the series, in the Major League Baseball, it's happened once. In the NHL, it's happened 4 times a team has come down from 0-3. And I don't think Edmonton is going to get the job done this year. So that creates space for the Mavericks to make sure that the NBA has a team like that as well.
Kevin, you've often told me that nobody's ever come back from being down 0-3.
Yes.
Right, to win the series. You've often said that.
Often said it.
However, somebody did text in this morning, and they said, look, nobody ran a 4-minute mile until that other dude that ran the 4-minute mile did. And now it's just typical.
He was in Chariots of Fire.
Exactly. Brian's song.
That's a different movie.
And so now it's like it's a typical thing. It happens frequently. What if the Mavs were the ones to start it? The trend of, you know what? We can come back down 0-3, and we can go, you know what? We still have a chance to do that instead of just giving up. I guess it's just too much human nature to give up after something like that. But what if you're special? What if you want to be a little bit different than everybody else, not just go out there and be a loser like all the other ones?
Whoa.
Let's call up the Purdue and Virginia men's basketball teams and tell us if they think sometimes history can be made.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They were both the number 1 seeds that lost to the 16.
See what I'm saying?
It can happen.
And look at the Mavericks. Every team that they've beaten so far has been a higher seed than them. This could be another one to get the gauntlet all taken care of.
From the 817, Mavericks lose because they'll completely give up when the Celtics go on a 14-1 run. We'll make a free throw during that. All right, I like that. From the 214, Mavericks lose because Luka gets put in timeout due to having a 2-year-old temper tantrum.
Okay, who's going to put him in timeout?
Michael Finley.
What?
He did take away his beer.
He did.
And they're 0-3 since he took away his beer.
Since he's taken his beer away. Emasculated him in front of his dad.
All right.
From the 817, while we're also mixing in some shout-outs, I'm really fascinated by this. Shout out to my daughter, Addison. She's killing it at Texas A&M goalie camp.
Nice!
All right, I'm familiar with, like, fish camp and stuff like that, but what sport? Is it soccer, field hockey? Like,
regular hockey?
Regular hockey?
Does A&M have a hockey team, like a regular hockey team? Or is it just field hockey down there?
I don't know.
What if it's water polo?
Wouldn't field hockey be regular hockey and then ice hockey would be the variation?
But yet they don't call field hockey hockey. They call hockey and field hockey field hockey.
Very rarely do I run around going, I can't wait for the ice hockey game tonight.
Okay, fair enough. Touche.
But that's just me. I don't know if other people typically do that or not.
That is a.
But water polo is another option that you didn't throw in there.
That is true. My apologies. Can I give out a win because lose because?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas wins because this time the role players actually do shoot better at home. Now,
you need it.
I know we've talked about outside of Kyrie and Luka, and for the purposes of this, I'm taking everybody outside of Kyrie and Luka. I feel like that's probably not a fair assessment for some of these players, but just to cut right to the chase. In road games, the jump has been from 46.1% to 48.6%. In Game 3, Mavericks, 45.2%. So even lower than the road number. From three-point range, 34.7% up to 38%. The Mavericks in Game 3, 33.3%. So not only did they not get any better, they actually shot worse than their road averages for the playoffs. You're going to need them to take that 3, 5, probably 7% bump up, especially from 3, if you're going to win tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
In addition to that, you need to knock down threes. The Celtics are getting up the amount of threes that they want to. Like, they took 46 threes in this past game, and 18 of those were corner threes, which is, they're so good at that as well. Like, I know that the game plan in some ways is try and take those away. Mavericks win because they actually take something away, right? The Celtics are shooting incredible at the rim, and then they're getting all these shots from the corners. Like, those are the two things that you have to pick one of them. And I think the Mavericks, if they can actually get defensively solid enough to take one of those things away, you give yourself an opportunity to win.
Our guys, and somebody texted in, or maybe it was the call yesterday, they are right. The guys that are at the basket need the ball to be given to them in order to make those. If those guys had better post play, and which doesn't really truly exist anymore, but if they were better at it, would that benefit them against Boston the way that they play, or would that matter at all?
See, I think it really would, because that actually ties into my Mavericks lose because either KP plays or more likely Xavier Tillman continues to have really productive minutes. I know he only played 11 minutes, but in that time, to your point, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a +9 in that 11 minutes. And so if you were more adept at what you were just talking about, I think that would help. But that's my Mavs lose, is if Xavier Tillman plays really efficiently again, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
My Mavs win is because they feel like there's no pressure on them now. Now the pressure is to just go out there, finish the series out, and their shots start falling because of that. They're not trying to guide shots in. They're not trying to do anything outside of themselves. They're just doing what they've done over the last part of the season since the trade, and that is continuing to get a little bit better as a team together, and then they go out there and they win because of it. They don't have that tense tightness because of that, which is something that, as we discussed, is a learned thing to grow through. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, the story I saw on him this morning, overcoming fumbling away Game 7.
Yep.
And growing from that and saying, I'm not going to, it was embarrassing. Having something like that happen to you is going to help you down the road, hopefully.
Are you okay if I read a text that tries to trump you?
Yeah, sure.
From the, I think you're going to like it, from the 817. Well, it's a sweet message. The Mavericks win tonight because I'm finally going to be tuning in. My dad passed away last Thursday, so I've been occupied with that. But I'm going to tune in tonight. I'm ready. I know he's watching with me in spirit. Mavs in 7.
Yeah, we got to win one from that one. 9-7-2, you said?
Boom!
Got to win for the 9-7-2.
I'm in.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, do that tonight. Mavs lose because, Kevin, they aren't losing tonight.
And then just to show how close our community of listeners is, hold on from the 682. Have we outswagged them yet?
Not yet.
It's a good point.
We need to outswag them.
Mavericks win tonight because they will simply outswag the Celtics.
From the 979, the Mavs need Austin Hedges listen to Creed to get together. But I wasn't that I know Austin Hedges is a vibe in and of himself, but wasn't that Andrew Heaney that kind of started that? And I think he's a Thunder fan. So, like, that's the...
Didn't we almost change his mind, though?
That was John Gray.
Oh,
that was John Gray.
We have so many damn Thunder fans on this team.
Well, John Gray is just from Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so that was his conversation there. He was like, I don't really care. And we were like, well, you just say Mavericks.
And he did.
And he did.